I'm so glad you're here. It's been quite a year, and I'm looking forward to celebrating our accomplishments with you. An awards program celebrates people, clubs. I can't wait to tell you all about it. I want to review just a bit about what to expect from this program.
We get to meet Rotary International Director Johrita Solari. You'll get to hear a few words from our current DG line. You're going to get to hear from the foundation chair. You're going to see some awesome photos put together by Cynthia Garcia from the Fairfield Sassoon Club. You get to hear about some great things that we've been accomplishing over this last year. And honestly, it's a chance to get to say thank you for all of your work. We're going to close with 2 annual awards, the Rotarian of the Year and the Cliff Dochterman Award. It's so much fun to see so many friends. Please, I'd like for you to, on purpose, put your Zoom on gallery, and let's wave hello to, from the Rotary Club of Moraga, past RI president, and honestly, our favorite Rotarian in the entire world, Cliff Dochterman. Hi, Cliff. From the Rotary Club of Anaheim, our RI director, Johrita Solari. Where's Johrita? I know we're not going to be able to see any of them. Claire, will you unmute yourself, please, and introduce some of the other distinguished guests in the room?
Yes, thank you, Tina. We're very fortunate to have several past District 5160 governors with us today. First off, George Chafee from the Rotary Club of Lomeren to Sunrise. George served as district governor from 1997 to 98. Brian Thiessen from the Rotary Club of Alamo. Brian served as district governor from 2005-2006. Candy Pierce from the Rotary Club of Cordelia. Candy served from 2006 to 2007. Earl Kilmer from the Fairfield Sassoon Twilight Club, who served 2009 to 2010.
Yay!
Okay, so Carl, you're now muted, Carl. In accordance with my prior instructions, Carl Diekman from the Rotary Club of Woodland, who served 2010-2011. Dave Dacus from the Rotary Club of Fairfield Sassoon, who served 2011-2012. Laura Young from the Rotary Club of Anderson, who served 2012-2013. Steve Lack from the Rotary Club of Pleasant Hill, who served 2013-2014. Pam Gray from the Rotary Club of Paradise, who served 2014-2015. Fred Calignan from the Rotary Club of Berkeley, who served 2016-2017. And Gary Vilhauer from the Rotary Club of Danville, who served 2017-2018. We're also very excited today to have the current district governor line with us. From the Rotary Club of Benicia, immediate past district governor, John Dwyer. Tina, you've already seen, so our current district governor, Tina Akins from the Rotary Club of Concord. Mark Roberts from the Rotary Club of Lomeren to Sunrise, who's our district governor-elect. Kathy Suvia from the Rotary Club of Mount Shasta, who is our district governor nominee. And Suzanne Bragdon from the Fairfield Sassoon Club, who is the district governor nominee designate. So back to you, Tina.
Thanks. I think this is the most past district governors we've ever had in the room in a long time. Now, before I go on, I just want to tell you that my screen has my notes, and it also has a portion of the screen with all the little gallery views. So Earl, Valerie, Arnie, and Pate, and Dave, don't pick your nose or anything because I can see you. I'm just saying. This program is scheduled for roughly an hour and a quarter. That's shorter than our typical awards dinner, right? I've got to throw out a disclaimer. There's so much work going on in our district, and I won't even come close to mentioning everyone that I want to thank, mentioning all those impactful projects that I got to learn about, and I apologize ahead of time. You sent in some really thorough, inspiring recaps of your club's year of service, and honestly, my only regret is the inability to share it all. Hey, I mentioned photos at one point though, right? Let's see what Cynthia put together for the first segment of photos of you in action.
Do we stay on speaker view?
Yeah, so you'll see Claire's screen.
it. Come on, sing. It doesn't matter, your days are long. It doesn't matter, your night's gone wrong. Just clap your hands and stomp your feet and sing it. Oh, oh, oh. It doesn't matter if he let you go. It doesn't matter if she hurt you so. Get up and dance, just feel that beat and sing it. Oh, oh, oh. I don't know what you've been told, but music make you lose control. Sing, 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 sing it out as hard as you can. Make them hear from LA to Japan. Don't let them bring it down. This is how we do it now. Go and roll it windows down. Sing, 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 sing it with your hands in the sky. Light it up like it's the 4th of July. Don't let them bring it down. You know what I'm talking about. Live it loud now. It doesn't matter if you're way off track. Sing. Feel like you're headed for a heart attack. Just raise your voice and breathe the noise and sing it. Oh, oh, oh. Sing for your mama, sing for your daughter, sing for your sisters, misters, best friends, brother. 'Cause I don't know what you've been told, but music make you lose control. Sing, 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 sing it out as hard as you can. Make them hear from LA to Japan. Don't let them bring it down. This is how we do it now. Go and roll them windows down. Sing, 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 sing it with your hands in the sky. Light it up like it's the 4th of July. Don't let them bring it down. You know what I'm talking about. Live it loud now.
I know. Cool, right? I love it. I can't wait to see more of those later in the program. Next in our program is what I'm calling our keynote speaker. We're honored today to have a special guest, Director Johrita Solari. Now, most people join Rotary because they want to make a difference. Maybe it's bringing educational opportunities to children, or maybe they join to provide clean drinking water where it's needed. Will you answer that phone? Maybe they want to expand peace in the world. Maybe they even want to improve their own lives by developing friendships. Now, Johrita is one of those Rotarians who has successfully made a difference. She's an innovator. She's a doer. During her year of service as district governor, she held her district's first ever $1 million dinner, raising money for the Rotary Foundation. And then she led her district to become only the second in the world 100% Paul Harris Club district, again generating funds. Now wait, let's just pause. Who listened carefully to what I said so quickly? 100% Paul Harris Club district. You got any guesses what that means? It means that every member in every club in the district at a minimum achieved a Paul Harris status, $1,000 to the foundation. I know, right? You get why I think she's amazing. Johrita is our zone director, and I got to meet her at NATS and GETS, training for incoming governors. She's a team builder. She's warm. She's genuine. She's welcoming. Honestly, she's a really good role model. I thought a way for you to get to meet Johrita was for me to ask her questions on your behalf, to interview her. If you have additional questions, you put them in the chat box, and Claire will keep track of them. Please, everyone, help me to welcome Rotary International Director from the Rotary Club of Anaheim, Johrita Solari.
Hey. Hi, Tina.
I'm clapping on your behalf.
Oh, great. Well, that was great music. I loved it. Thank you. Gosh. And thank you for your kind introduction, Tina, and for inviting me to be a part of this celebration. I want to congratulate you and your team on the shift to a virtual platform. You know, it's always an honor for me to join Rotarians. In fact, it's probably one of my best jobs is being a Rotary International Director. And it's so nice to see President Cliff. Cliff, are you still awake? I hope so. I hope so. And congratulations to all the Rotarians in District 5160 for an awesome and inspiring year. So let's get started, I think. I'm not sure. We'll see.
My first question for you. I'm excited to get to ask you some questions. How did you find out about Rotary?
Oh, well, it was a while ago. It was in 1993 when Bruce and I were 6 months into a new business that we started. And Bruce received a letter as president of the company asking him to come as a guest to check out the local Rotary Club meeting. You know, and with a slight grin on his face, he brought the invitation letter into my office and gave me the invitation to attend. Well, you know, Wayne, that Rotary was an organization made up of businessmen, and I a businesswoman, and president of the company, decided I'd take some time from my very busy schedule and leave this rather large gender chip I had on my shoulder right in the middle of that good old boys club. And when I got there, I was right. There they were, all the guys standing around talking to each other. So I threw back my shoulders, stood tall, and with invitation letter in hand, walked right up to the man behind the registration desk and told him that I was here to check out Rotary. And here was the invitation that was sent to the vice president of our company in error. Well, Bob, the Rotarian behind the table, looked up and with a big smile on his face said, "Welcome to Rotary. We're glad you came." And then he introduced me to Larry and told Larry that I was a guest. And Larry just reached out his hand and with a big smile said, "Welcome to Rotary too." And he said, "Come on in, let me introduce you to the Rotarians in the room." Well, to make a long story short, I honestly couldn't wait to get back to that meeting. And before I knew it, I was a member of the Rotary Club of East Anaheim. But of course, remember, it was the startup year of our business, and I was way too busy to be a Rotarian, and I had this rather large gender chip on my shoulder, and it was a club of elite, exclusive, seasoned businessmen. Well, I was wrong. I was so very wrong. I was enjoying the fellowship and working with the guys on community projects. They didn't care that I was the president of the company, and they certainly didn't care that I was a woman. Here were professionals that had connected their heads to their hearts. And I was honored to be a member of the Rotary Club of East Anaheim. But friends, my story stopped in 1996 when our club turned in its charter because our membership had declined, and I quit Rotary.
Am I unmuted?
Yes.
Can you hear me? You quit? So wait, wouldn't that make one think that you'd go find another club right away because you fell in love with Rotary, right?
You'd think that, but I had this thing about not being able to say no, and I was burned out with Rotary. And no, I didn't go look for another club. My husband Bruce did, and he immediately joined the Rotary Club of Anaheim. You know, it wasn't until about 4 years later when Bruce asked me on a date to go to lunch, and he took me to his Rotary Club, and I sat next to a Rotarian. His name is Lowell Jones, LBJ for short, and he was a 50-year perfect attendance Rotarian. And he asked me if I knew about Rotary, and I told him my story. We had a fine chat, and he said, "You know, Johrita, you should really think about coming back to Rotary. We would love to have you back in this club." Well, we had a fine time. I went away. And the next day at lunchtime, when I got back from lunch, there was that little red message light blinking on the phone. And it was a message from LBJ saying he was really nice to meet me. And he felt it was important for me to come back to Rotary and join the Rotary Club of Anaheim. Well, you know, he didn't ask me to call him back, so I didn't. Well, next week, around 2 o'clock on Monday, that little red message light was blinking again when I got back from lunch, and it was another message from LBJ saying to me what a great Rotarian I'd be, and he asked me to come back to another meeting. I'm going to say that for 3 months, every Monday, that little red message light was blinking. And it was a message from LBJ asking me to come back to Rotary. Well, I have to tell you, I finally relented and went to the meeting to tell LBJ to stop calling me. But when I walked in, he was so happy to see me that he could barely contain himself. And frankly, I didn't have the heart to tell him I wasn't joining Rotary. But we had another fine time, and I left, and he called me the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, until I finally relented and came back to Rotary. And I'm very proud to say that LBJ sponsored me back into Rotary in 2000, 18 years ago. Now, you know what, I'm not expecting everybody to be as relentless as LBJ was, but Tina, if you believe it's important, we have to pursue it relentlessly, and we'll find more success than not. And I think we all have to be relentless Rotarians to recruit and listen and to drive projects in our communities in the world, to grow Rotary, because we're people of action.
Man, Johrita, relentless. I love it. I think about all the places where that word applies. And honestly, everybody else in this room, you get why I'm just in love with this woman, right? It really, honestly, it's inspiring to hear your passion. Okay, wait, speaking of passion, let's hear about some other ideas that you have about Rotaries. For instance, what area of Rotary service are you most interested in?
Oh, really not one, but all of them. I'm interested in the 5 areas of the 5 avenues of service, the 6 areas of focus. I think that it is amazing to see the global footprint that 1.2 million Rotarians have around the world, and all the action that's really taking place to address economic development and disease prevention and water and sanitation and, oh gosh, just peace and conflict resolution. And you know what? When it's all said and done, Tina, it all adds up, and I think it all falls under the umbrella of peace. So it all adds up. I think I've heard that before.
I think you have. That's awesome. And you're right, it does. So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about your role as a Rotary International Director, because honestly, I was in Rotary for a long time before I knew what it was or even that it existed. So, I mean, so what does it mean? What do you do? I mean, wait, I get that there are zones and that you're responsible for a geographic area, right?
Well, kind of, but there's a special connection with the Rotarians in zones 26 and 27 that nominated me to be a director. But I have to say that international directors are exactly what they say. They're responsible to Rotarians around the world, to everyone around the world. And it's not just the Rotarians that are in zones 26 and 27. But I have to say there is a special connection between us.
I'm going to guess that if I were to represent the people in this room, many times we hear this question: what's after polio?
Wow, what's after polio? You know, and that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know what's after polio. RI doesn't, Rotary International doesn't know what's after polio. But I know that we will remain focused on ending polio until the job is done. Where we go from there, it hasn't been decided. Ideas will and are coming from Rotary to the Rotary International Board of Directors and the foundation trustees. You know, there may not be another corporate project, or there may be more than one. we don't know yet, but we have to remain focused on eradicating polio and aware that they're aware that what we're going to do after polio. And you know, polio, the eradication of polio came from individual Rotarians, as I think the next steps after Rotary will.
Yeah. Actually, this is great. I could just keep asking you questions all morning, but that won't work. But it is fun to visit with you. Right now, the world is experiencing some pretty major challenges. And you and I had talked a little bit about Rotary's response to COVID-19. Maybe you want to tell us some more about what Rotary's doing to fight racism in the world. I mean, just comments about what we're going through currently.
Well, let me talk about really quickly about COVID-19. Our world has changed, and it will be changed when we come out of the pandemic. And I think you'll agree with me that we've had more transformational change, maybe 2 or 3 years of transformational change in the last 90 days. But really, I have seen Rotarians taking tremendous advantages of these changes. I mean, today I saw Cliff Dochterman on Zoom. Who would have thought that we would have been on Zoom before? And I see clubs that are having their board meetings and their club meetings on Zoom. I see people that are talking about how can we keep members that we haven't seen in such a long time still engaged in our club, and thinking about maybe having a hybrid club meeting where you have Zoom and in-person meetings. I mean, it is just amazing. Videos coming out, speaker series coming out, people from all over the world speaking in different Rotary clubs. I myself have been to more Rotary Club meetings than I ever would have been in before. So I really am excited about the opportunities that Rotarians are taking advantage of. It is a magical time. Now, in regards to the issue with your question and how we're fighting racism, I have to tell you, Rotary last year came out with a diversity, equity, and inclusion statement where it states that Rotary values and celebrates contributions of all people of all backgrounds, regardless of age, ethnicity, race, color, abilities, religion, socioeconomic status, culture, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity. Everyone is welcome in Rotary. And I think we've all read the recent statement from Rotary where it was stated that at Rotary, we have no tolerance for racism. Promoting respect, celebrating diversity, demanding ethical leadership, and working tirelessly to advance peace are central tenets of our work. We have more work to do to create more just, open, and welcoming communities for all people. Now, members of Rotary, you know, people say, what can I do to help? And I think that we have an opportunity to use our voices as a platform to affect those around us. And I would like to just say, maybe it's time to, if you haven't, read a little of a book called White Like Me, or look up the Blue-Eyed, Brown-Eyed Project. Very, very interesting. So use your voice to reach out, to affect those around us. Nelson Mandela said, I found God answered my prayers much more quickly once I started taking action myself.
I know this is handing you a softball, but no, I think we'll just leave it at that. I think you said it, because we hear so many times about what can Rotary do, and I think what you're telling us is it's what we can do individually, because oh yeah, because it all adds up.
Well, if I may, we tend to forget that Rotary begins and ends in the Rotary Club, not at Rotary International. we're the ones, the individual Rotarians, that have to make a difference.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much for bringing your ideas, your passion, it's just fun to talk to you. Claire, my dear, do we have any questions for Johrita from the chat room?
We really don't, but on the theme, Johrita, that the idea for the next What's After Polio could come from a Rotarian. A few suggestions that were thrown in were autism, Alzheimer's, and clean water for all. Other than that, there is no questions in the chat box, so I think we can continue on.
Okay, because I'm sorry. I think
Thank you.
When she reads those chat box ideas, what I think is what you and I have been talking about. Those are wonderful ideas, and they are going to bubble to the surface, and they are going to become ideas, then projects, then potentially worldwide movements, because somebody takes the ball and moves it forward. And so I invite all of us to continue on that path. Johrita, thank you so much for sharing your morning with us. I know you're busy, and I love to hear from you. You're so much fun to visit with. I wish you were my next door neighbor. On behalf of everyone who got to hear you this morning, thanks. And as a gift of appreciation, our district is making a donation to the Rotary Foundation in your name. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you so much for asking me to be here today.
Oh, truly, not just my pleasure, but our pleasure. Now, Johrita's remarks reminds me, Rotary is not some imaginary entity. Rotary is us, clubs, members. Let's hear more on that topic from the Rotary Club of Fairfield Sassoon, District Governor in, this is a mouthful, District Governor in 2022-23, say that 3 times fast, Suzanne Bragdon.
Yay! Hello. I do want to add on the chat box, Johrita, that you have been nominated for one of the soon-to-be first female RI presidents, just to let you know. So unanimous consent. So okay. So when Tina asked me to talk about our membership accomplishments, I was actually really, really thrilled, because we all know how important membership is. We know that we have to be relentless, as Johrita says. And think about it for a second. Why is membership so important to us at the club level? Well, think about it. When you bring a new member in, what are you getting? Energy, new perspectives, new ideas, hands to do more projects, hands to write checks, but most importantly, if you really think about what you treasure in Rotary, you're getting to meet another individual that you might not have met otherwise, and you get to develop that friendship. So that's why membership is so very, very, very important. And we have so many accomplishments to share, and I think I've got like 2 minutes or less to do so. So let's get on to the next slide. Now, as Claire makes that transition for us, I want to point out that the numbers that I'm sharing, and are you trying to do that, Claire?
Yes, I am. Sorry.
I'll keep
there
talking.
we go.
I'll keep talking. The numbers that I'm going to share with you are effective as of May 12th. They will change. They always do. But all we can do is report where we are right now, right? And it's looking really, really, really good. So the first area I'm going to talk about, and I'll keep talking, right, Claire?
The slide's up.
Oh, I don't see it. Do I have to change my speaker view or something?
I don't see it either, Claire.
Okay, let me try again. Sorry.
So the first area I'm going to talk about is our accomplishments at the district level. And what is really, really cool about the numbers right now is at the district level, we are part of zone 2627, and there are 30 districts in that zone. They're about a third of the Western United States. Hawaii, Alaska, part of Texas, part of British Columbia, and our membership growth as of May 12th is in the top 5 of all those districts. 49 of our clubs, 49 out of 73 have grown or are stable. 38 clubs have represented a net increase of 106 new members. So give yourselves a round of applause. Now let's get to the details for our clubs. I'm not going to list, I'm sorry, all 38 clubs. Let's see, I need to get to the next slide. Thank you, thank you. So I am going to read these clubs who have increased. Wait, is that the third one or the second one? There we go, thank you. I am going to go from the bottom to the top of our top 10 clubs that have a net membership gain. And as I do so, if you are in one of these clubs, and you can prepare because you can see the clubs on the screen. I want to see things in chat. I want to see you do your thumbs up. I want to see you dance, okay? Because even though we're Zoom, we can get excited, right? So here we go, top 10 clubs. Berkeley, 4. Martinez, 4. Pinole, 4. Weed, 4. Orinda, net 5. Reading East, net 5. Davis, net 6. Richmond, net 8. La Marinda, 9. And Hercules, I hope, Tita, you're out there. 11 plus members. Woo!
Awesome.
Doing a good job.
Okay, next slide. Now this is showing percentage gain because we know that it varies if you're a small club, large club, whatever. So you're going to see new clubs here, and I want to see the same applauses, the screams, the yells. I know I can't hear you, but I can feel the vibrations through the ether. Okay, let's start with Walnut Creek Sunrise, 10% growth. Corning, 10% growth. Orinda, 10% growth. And we're increasing. Reading Sunrise, 11%. San Pablo, 12%. Martinez, 13%. Richmond, 14%. Concord Diablo, 14%. El Cerrito, 15%. La Marinda, once again, I'm looking at you, Claire, 17%. Pinole, 17%. Weed, wow, 18%. And drum roll, please. Hercules, 92%. Awesome. And let's see if my claps will work. Awesome job, everybody. And thank you, Tina, for letting me participate.
Oh, that was great. I love hearing about the successes, and I love the claps. That was perfect. Membership is, well, we all know it's everything. You want to see a few more photos of us in action? Claire, take it away.
Here we go. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I can change the world with my own 2 hands, make a better place. With my own 2 hands, make a kinder place. Oh, with my own 2 hands, with my own 2 hands. With my own 2 hands. I can make a peace on earth with my own 2 hands, and I can clean up the earth, Lord, with my own 2 hands, and I can reach out to you. Oh, with my own 2 hands, with my own 2 hands. Oh, with my own 2 hands. I'm gonna make it a brighter place. I'm gonna make it a safer place. I'm gonna help the human race with my own 2 hands.
That was pretty cool. The photos are awesome. And Cynthia, I just love what you put together. Next on our program is a review of the district's foundation achievements. Now, to help me in that review, I hope he takes his mask off. Please welcome past district governor, Carl Diekman. Now, Carl has served as our district Rotary Foundation chair for 6 of the last 7 years. He also serves as the zone's assistant regional Rotary Foundation coordinator. Carl, thanks for agreeing to share this part of the program with me. Now, you've been involved with the foundation for these last years. Let's start with some comparisons. I mean, how do we compare to the rest of the world in terms of giving?
Well, Tina, District 5160 Rotarians have consistently been among the most generous in the world. The latest report says that District 5160 is in the top 50 districts in the world for total giving and ranked number 38 in per capita giving. Now, you have to remember there's about 535 districts, plus or minus. I don't know where that stands today, but that's a pretty good rate for us. Because of our contributions to the Rotary Foundations are directly reflected in district designated funds available for grants, you can see the generosity of Rotarians reflected when you compare approximately $145,000 available for grants in the first year of what was then our Future Vision program to today when we have approximately $350,000 available.
Wait. We went in 10 years from 145,000 to 350,000 over 10 years. Oh, okay, I get it. This is really good news. You Rotarians are very generous and continue to be. I wonder if the Rotarians in the room know how many people it takes to keep track of the kind of activity that goes with that kind of funds.
Well, Tina, let me tell you a few words about our team. Each year, we have between 30 and 40 Rotarians from throughout the district on the foundation team, performing a wide variety of activities in club support, grants management, and fundraising at all levels. Everyone deserves special recognition for their effort, but given the limitation of time, I want to mention a couple special people who served with me for much of the past decade. Larry Goldenberg served for the better part of the last decade as District 5160's fundraising committee chair. As chair of the fundraising committee, he thoroughly researched the patterns of giving in the district. Isn't it amazing when you lose your place? I researched the patterns of giving in District 5160 and used what he learned to teach every Rotarian how valuable they were to the Rotary Foundation program. Through Larry's efforts, Rotary contributions to the Rotary Foundation quickly rose, and today District 5160 is recognized for the generosity of our Rotarians whose giving keeps us in the top 8% of districts in the world. I'd also like to mention Steve Polson. Steve served for the better part of the last decade as District 5160's Grants Committee Chair. As chair of the committee, he presided over the evaluation award of over 16 district grants, that's one for each year and a few more, and 4 to 5 global grants each year. With the assistance of the grant review panel, he reviewed and awarded grants to humanitarian projects, scholarships, and community service projects in our district and around the world. Thanks to Steve, our Rotarians can be proud of the high-quality projects that help them create and implement. I personally want to thank Larry and Steve, and I hope the rest of you will join me in that.
No kidding. Thanks, Carl, and thank you to Steve and to Larry. Now, Steve and Larry, if your package from me arrived in the mail, you can open it now. And please accept what's in it, this very small token with all of our heartfelt thanks. It's just a pin, but it represents a lot more. To all of you who helped make our district's foundation program a success on behalf of the entire district, I hope that you understand how much we appreciate your work. We'll get to review your names later in the program. Right now, Carl, you want to tell us a little bit more about what the team does?
Well, a good example of how effective our team is comes with the recent disaster response grant aimed at COVID-19 pandemic. Our clubs responded quickly to a call for proposals, and we were happy to say that District 5160 received a $25,000 grant. With this grant, we were able to provide funds to 11 clubs from throughout our district, which they can use to support programs aimed at food insecurity in their communities.
That was great. And I remember that whole thing was like over a week's time. You're right. People stepped up, and it was just another example of dedication. Now, it's important to note our district giving is really a sum of club giving. Remember, I always say it all adds up, and boy, does it. And this is an awards program. Carl, help me to recognize some of the club's achievements, of course, using data that's available as of today. Now, Claire's going to bring up some slides, and I want you to take a look at some of these names. Now, we honor clubs who have achieved 100% giving to the Rotary Foundation. It's the next slide.
I know.
It's a nice name, though.
There, you like that. These clubs.
Are you seeing it?
We are.
Okay.
And these clubs have figured out how to encourage. They understand what giving to the foundation is, and their club is 100% giving to our Rotary Foundation. I'm just so grateful and proud of these clubs. Claire, go to the next slide, please, because this next one shows a couple clubs out there that are only 1 or 2 members away from being 100%. They're this close. And we have, what do we have? 17 days left? Yeah, we have some time. Now, I understand that there is a competition amongst a few clubs to make it to the top of this next slide. Next, there you go. This is Rotary Foundation giving clubs with the highest per capita to the annual fund. I was at a president area meeting and heard them chatting about this and said, all right, let's just see where you are. But really, what it boils down to is this. Congratulations to all of you. Hey, this data is before the end. You've got time. Congratulations to these clubs and everyone who chooses to donate to the foundation. Now, speaking of foundation, I'm really excited to talk about a couple of specific district achievements this year, including the Paul Harris Society Challenge. Now, let's just refresh people's memory. Remember, the clubs voted and we transferred $50,000 from our global grant fund to the Polio Plus Fund. And then you remember there was matching from RI, then there's matching from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and it became, drum roll, $300,000 donation for Polio Plus. I know, that is a big deal. Now, Carl, you urged me to put a challenge out there. You said, yeah, it is a big deal. $50,000? 50, that's a good number. And I launched the challenge to sign up 50 new Paul Harris Society members in honor of the contribution. Now, for our newer Rotarians in the room, that's a commitment to donate $1,000 annually to the Rotary Foundation. Well, let's talk about that challenge. It's almost year end. How did we do? Per RI's records to date, and there's a slide to accompany this, there's 57 new names net added to the roster this year. That's net because there was a few that were lost. Well, my list shows, ready, 93 people who committed to joining the Paul Harris Society. 93. Now, I think there's a couple folks out there who committed and I still need to chase them down and get their form turned in, but come on, this is awesome. Let's take a look at the next slide and show some clubs that just went over and above and stepped up. The clubs with the greatest, this is not new, this is total, the clubs with the greatest number of Paul Harris Society members in their club. Pretty impressive, right? The next one is the one that just tickles me to no end. This next one is about percentage of membership. I mean, look at, we've got 4 clubs in our district where a third or more, or way more, have signed up to be part of the Paul Harris Society. You know what I have to say about that? Next slide. This is what I think. Awesome. I can't begin to thank you enough for your dedication and your commitment to what I think is the engine that makes our work work. So how much might we have spent then? How much will we be spending in the next 10 years with this kind of commitment to giving? It's pretty cool to think about.
Yeah. Tina, that's a fantastic story. But I'd also like you to tell me a little bit about your visit, your club visit to Davis Sunrise. I understand something happened at your governor visit this year, and I'd like to know what happened. And more importantly, what do you think caused it to happen?
Oh, I remember it was really early in the morning. I remember there was bacon. There's always bacon at Davis Sunrise. And as part of my talk, I welcomed 1 or 2 new members into the Paul Harris Society. Now, the next thing you know, there was this, I don't know what happened. There was this energy that took over. And that morning, there was something like 7 more people who raised their hands and signed up. It was awesome. What caused it? I don't know. It was really cool, though.
Well, Tina, I think what you described is a Rotary Club taking full advantage of their Rotary experience.
I think so, too. They're a club that's just firing on all cylinders. And clubs they're amazing. There's so many committed, generous people in our district. It's really inspiring to be reminded of so many people that believe in what the foundation can do. Let's take a look at some more interesting numbers. Now, these numbers on the next slide tell us a few things. There are many of us who donate to the foundation year after year, and look, it all adds up. Look at how many major donors there are amongst us. Did you even know that there were 4 Arch Clump donors in our district? Now, it says on the slide what Arch Clump is. That's pretty impressive, right? The Bequest Society is a pledge to put Rotary in your will. There's 119 of us currently, and that's good. That's the number that I think we have a potential to grow for next year. Pretty neat.
Tina, it's been a great year for Rotary and for the Rotary Foundation. Thanks to the generous giving of our Rotarians, we have processed 10 global grant applications, 6 of which have already been awarded. We currently have 26 active global grant projects. We also made 20 district grant awards to clubs with a value of over $183,000, which I might add is up from $73,000 just 10 years ago.
Nice, right? Carl, thank you very much for helping everybody to understand more about our district and our contributions to the Rotary Foundation. Honestly, I am so proud to belong to this district. I have one last question for you. I mean, almost, would you say 6 years, 7 years? I don't know. It seems like forever. But you have 17 days left with this job. Anything you'd like to add before we close this portion of the program? Any advice that you have for John?
Tina, thank you for giving me enough time to thank each and every club in our district for allowing me the opportunity to work with them over these many years. For John, I hope that you enjoy the opportunity you have been given to serve our wonderful Rotarians as much as I have. And Tina, thank you especially for a great year.
Thanks, Carl. Thank you for joining me in the program. Thank you for your contributions over these years. Now, to tell us more about our district's role in international projects, I want to introduce my dear friend from the Rotary Club of Mount Shasta, District Governor nominee, Kathy Suvia. Now, Kathy, how many years have you been involved with Rotary?
Good morning, Tina. I'm really happy to say I've had 16 years in Rotary. What interested me most about Rotary was community service, but not in the way we typically think of it. My early career years were spent in real estate and banking, and honestly, I'd probably be better off financially if I'd stayed on that track. But after a couple of years off as a stay-at-home mom, I took a part-time job with a local service agency. I went home that night knowing I had made a difference in someone's life. I've been involved with nonprofits ever since. So I didn't really need Rotary as a way to do local community service. That was my life, day in and day out. For me, the idea of community service in Rotary was about the greater global community and the opportunity to make a difference in the world. Rotary gives us that, and our district has a long history of global impact. Let me tell you about a couple of my favorite projects. I love the story of Orinda Rotary, who received their first global grant last year for $140,000 to support expansion of the Zimba Eye Clinic in rural Zambia. But there's so much more to that story. International Vision Volunteers, or IVV, was founded 25 years ago by 3 Rotarians who happened to be eye surgeons in the Antioch area. They built and they continue to maintain a modern eye clinic with a full-time ophthalmologist, support staff, and a well-equipped operating room. Zimba Eye Clinic has provided care to 100,000 people in Zambia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, and Malawi. They also provide medical training for local health professionals, the Rotary Free Community Library, which is soon to be expanded, and job training that allows local farmers to become OR and scrub techs. 6 to 8 medical teams a year volunteer in the IVVI camps. The clinic continues to enjoy broad-based support from many of the clubs in District 5160. Another favorite of mine is the Rotary Club of Mount Shasta, who has supported rainwater harvesting in Tanzania with 6 global grants in the past 10 years, and they're not done yet. That amounts to over $1 million of Rotary investment to bring clean water and improved quality of life to over 125,000 people in 27 villages that include 15,000 primary school children. The Goodbye Thirsty Project provides clean water, sanitation and hygiene training, food security, and nutrition enhancement with now possible community gardens. These 3 benefits together have reduced disease and increased access to education, and they offer ultimately a brighter economic future for that area. A total of 24 clubs in 4 districts and 3 countries have now partnered to make this happen. So these are just 2 examples of how we as Rotarians have improved the lives of people we may never meet. Taking a phrase from my favorite Arch Clump quote, "Tomorrow depends on what we do today." Thanks, Tina.
That was awesome. And I love hearing about all the clubs that are involved. Kathy, thanks. That was terrific. It's good to hear.
It is.
And it feels like a good time to see some more photos. Claire, what do you think? Let's see that next batch.
Sounds good.
I'm a little divided.
said these time and time again.
Thanks. I just love it. Now, some of you in the audience received a package in the mail recently. If you haven't done so, you can open it now. P.S. I hope they all made it. Inside is a pin. Now, you who invested so much time and talent helping your fellow Rotarians to serve more, to have more impact, we can't thank you enough. And honestly, it's just a pin, but it's so much more. I hope that later, years later, when you find this in your dresser, you are reminded that because of your effort, your actions, no matter how big, no matter how small, it all adds up. Your contributions add up to so much more than you sometimes remember. Want to see some examples of people that we owe so much to? Assistant governors, you rock. I will never be able to express adequately how much you are appreciated.
What is her name? Her name is
Thank you to every single one of you for your contributions this year. Youth programs chairs. There are so many youth out there who need us, and come on, we need them. We know they are our future. Thank you to the people on this screen who have chosen to make an impact by working with our youth. And thank you to all of you out there who work on these programs. More about youth programs later, but right now, just thanks. Foundation committee chairs, thank you for what you do, whether it's grants, fundraising, stewardship, foundation programs. You all, you know you have an enormous impact. Thank you. Then there's our committee chairs. So much going on and so many moving parts to this district. A big, huge thanks to these folks who step up day after day and they keep things humming. Thank you to these Rotarians for your consistent effort, for your contribution, because your effort adds up. There are more than 3,000 Rotarians in this district, and there's 3,000 reasons to say thanks for your contributions. Do you think it was difficult for me to limit the number of slides?
Uh-oh, she got muted. Shit.
Well, shucks. So you didn't get to hear all of my wonderful things when I was thanking everybody?
No, you just went out a couple seconds ago.
Okay, did you hear about how I want this program to be 3 times longer?
Yes, well, that was about where you went out.
Okay.
That's why we muted you.
Oh, that's why you muted me, Tony says. No clapping, Claire. Look, I want to tell individual stories about every single one of these names and the impact that they have. I mean, do you think that there aren't some great stories out there about Vic and everything he does? Or Gretchen being Sergeant at Arms last year at Pets, like head Sergeant at Arms? How about PDG Fred, who in 17 days is officially ending his 6.5-year commitment to the duties in the governor line? Walt is ending his work as grants chair, and you think we might have some stories about his effort? How about Amelia, who worked her heart out and didn't get to experience the result? I mean, there are so many acts of service, so many, and it adds up to a really terrific district. Thank you on behalf of everybody that you serve. And this next slide. Okay, to the person out there this morning, someone amongst you who is going to be district governor someday. This slide is my current DG family, and my wish for you is this: may you have as good of a DG line family to work with as I do. They are awesome. I want to also give a special thanks to this next member of the team. Can't do it without him. Oh, babe, this governor thing has been quite a ride, and I am so, I'm so glad that I got to share this ride with you. Next up, one of the members of the DG line, to give you a sneak peek of next year. You are in such good hands with this guy. I am so happy to welcome, from the Rotary Club of La Miranda Sunrise, Mark Roberts.
Thanks, Tina. I mean, Tina, thank you. And, thanks to the whole leadership team and the 2019-2020 presidents, because you've created so much success. You've made it so rewarding for all of us, and you've really overcome some challenges that none of us expected to face, especially during the last 3 months of this year. So thanks to all of you for a really outstanding performance and contribution to Rotary in the world. Looking ahead to the 2020-21 Rotary year, I want to focus on 3 priorities. First, your club members are your most important customers. We can't serve our local communities or those around the world without our members. I mean, they're absolutely vital. So it doesn't just apply to presidents and presidents-elect, but to all of us. I mean, recognize and connect with and care about your fellow club members, because that really is what makes the Rotary experience so rewarding, having that type of friendship and concern. Secondly, we can and we must grow Rotary. New members for each of our 73 clubs, of course, but new flexibility gives us new models, such as satellite clubs, corporate clubs, and cause-based clubs that may attract new members who have never before considered Rotary. We're creating a new club development committee that will really focus on finding those opportunities to create new clubs and welcome new Rotarians. Rotary International's theme for 2020-21 is Rotary Opens Opportunities. Let's create new opportunities for more people to join Rotary. Third, let's reconnect with Rotary alumni, not just former Rotary Club members, but also current and former Interact and Rotaract members, and former Youth Exchange and Camp Royal students. They're our future. They've all had meaningful experiences through Rotary. Let's bring them back for more. Rotary has an important and inspiring story to tell, and so do each of us. So the theme for the district for 2020-21 is Tell Your Rotary Story. Think about what Rotary means to you and what you mean to Rotary. 1.2 million members and 35,000 clubs may sound impressive, but it's your personal story that really makes an impact on people you ask to join you and your club. And as Johrita was talking about, that's what it takes. We need to ask, we need to be persistent. We need to look at our friends, our colleagues, people we know who we know want to serve their community in the world. Those are the folks we want to bring into Rotary, so we need to ask them. So thanks to all that all of you have done and will do, and a special thanks to the incoming leadership team, our assistant governors, our committee chairs, and also I want to especially thank Chief of Staff Janet Kennedy for all she's done so far, and of course, my all-star spouse, Claire Roberts, our district trainer. Let's all have fun and create many more memorable Rotary stories during 2020-21.
Thanks very much, Mark. I am so looking forward to the Rotary year with you as district governor. We've covered some highlights about our foundation, our membership numbers, our Paul Harris Society Challenge, the people who lead us. Then what is the bottom line? What's the common denominator? The clubs. It's us and our clubs, everybody doing so much. And what just fascinates me is how we all do it so differently. I'll tell you what, the best part about being a district governor is getting to learn what you do. You know, I'm going crazy with the desire to share everything, right? Well, I know I can't. So let's just look at some of the highlights. Now, your projects run the gamut from Dunsmuir's fishing line receptacles to the little libraries, working with the food banks, Meals on Wheels. Your clubs have home teams. You serve your communities with 4th of July celebrations, you know, most years. You got the Yolo County Board of Supervisors to declare October 24th as World Polio Day. You help other organizations in your communities. You help the homeless, and you cook. Oh my gosh, so many clubs reporting working at fairs, flipping pancakes, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of plates of pancakes. You bowled for polio. You paint. You fix. You traveled the world to do community projects in other communities besides your own. I am not kidding. I could go on and on. And your imagination, when it comes to fundraisers, oh, I love it. Let's talk about the youth programs out there. We take our responsibility to grow that next generation seriously, right? How many Interact and Rotaract members do you think our district has? Ready? More than 500 Rotaractors and more than 3,000 Interactors. And I'm happy to announce a brand new Diablo Valley community-based Rotaract club forming with the help of the Concord Club this month. Congratulations. I mean, it's awesome. Take a look at all the things that you do. Your impact and your imagination, I mean, it knows no bounds. Look, it's going to take 2 slides, and then I just had to quit listing cool projects. Every time you turn around, there's another kid who needs you. You teach them, you read to them, you increase literacy in communities around the world. You provide good role models. You feed them with backpack programs. You are making a difference. But this is an awards program, so I know, let's see if there's any awards that I can announce. Now, honestly, all these things that we talked about, I think a key component is communication. I mean, communication is critical for all these things to happen. Some of your websites out there are fantastic. And the award for the best club website goes to Berkeley. Well done, Berkeley, really. So much timely, helpful information. I'm not going to mention the clubs who have some room for improvement, but hey, you want some ideas? Check theirs out, or any of those honorable mentions on this screen. There's some wonderful newsletters out there. There's a great newsletter. I mean, what is it? It celebrates the club's members. It celebrates projects. It keeps absent members engaged. It's fun to read. It has photos, a broad range of topics. The award for the best newsletter goes to Clayton Valley. Joan, cool. I love reading that newsletter. Let's go back to impact. Remember when I came to your board meetings at the governor visits and I asked you, what dollar amount did your club invest in your community last year? Got any guesses? Ready? I love this. $3,420,000 you put back into your communities district-wide. And that, my friends, that is huge. That is a lot of impact. The truth is, our clubs rise to the challenge. And Rotarian International recognizes clubs that meet their challenge, and the club that achieves certain goals, well, they are awarded. There is something called a Rotary citation. This year's RI president, Mark Maloney, made it easy to understand. He said, look, unite people, take action. And then the clubs fulfill specific items under those categories. Now, last year, John says, there were 6 clubs that achieved that level. So this is a pretty darn impressive list. Really, congratulations. And I mean it. But wait, there is more. The clubs that go the extra mile can achieve the Rotary citation with presidential distinction. Double congratulations. When I tell you it's an awesome district, it is. And honestly, it was an awesome year. And then COVID hit. Now, the world as we know it, it changed. And then we needed to change, and it is not easy. I want to thank particularly Tom Guyette, president of the La Miranda Sunrise Club, and trainer Claire Roberts, both from the same club. Tom led us through the initial hurdles of learning Zoom as a verb, as a noun. Want to Zoom? See you on Zoom. Thank you. Thank you sincerely, Tom and Claire, for paving the way. You made it so much easier for us. This, my friends, is a good time to reach your arm around and give yourself a pat on the back, because you, on this call, you specifically, you embrace change. You agreed, all right, I'll step out of my comfort zone. I will learn something new. I will figure out how to make it work for myself and for the clubs. And there are some great examples out there of clubs who have embraced new technology and that are making it work. Really, good job. When history reviews this year, our Rotary year together, it might be defined by these last few months. Now, I want to remember the whole year, but really, what you did to step up and meet the needs of your communities in these last months, honestly, it's overwhelming. Have you heard about Brentwood Strong? Do you know how many clubs delivered meals, PPE? Do you know about the donation challenges? Shout out to Lafayette. The scholarships that San Ramon delivered via parade, and then made it to the 6 o'clock news? Do you know how many masks you delivered? We can look back. We Rotarians can look back at this time in world history. I think we can be proud of what we did, what we're doing. But I start to get too emotional. So with our fingers crossed for good music, let's see some more of those awesome, awesome photos. Claire, cue it up.
We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. Everyone can see we're together as we walk on by, and we fly just like birds of a feather. I won't tell no lie. All of the people around us, they say, can they be that close? Just let me state for the record, we're giving love in a family dose. We are family. Hey, I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up and
I love it. I love the photos. we Rotarians, we rise to the challenge and we learn, and so yay, I don't care. I love those photos. This next award goes to a Rotarian who has consistently gone above and beyond this last year. Now this guy, he faced some pretty big challenges head on. He has a Rotary spirit that just will not give up, and I am so happy to be able to honor him. I turned to a fellow club member for help, and I want to read the club member's words. Club presidents are a foundation bricks of Rotary. Club members look to the leadership of their presidents to ensure the success of their club. From time to time, sub-club presidents face significant challenges. The campfire presented Brian Gray with the monumental task of sustaining his club, even though his club lost its town. Every Rotarian knows that what we do is service. Every Paradise Rotarian knows that the service that we had to do was rebuild our town, and Brian led the way. He leveraged the Rotary spirit by conducting our first meeting a month after the fire. I mean, seeing everyone was a powerful, powerful reminder that we're still here, we're still a Rotary Club, and with Brian's leadership, we pressed on. Now, Brian knew that the Paradise Rotary Club can contribute a great deal toward rebuilding Paradise, and the foundation was, the Paradise Foundation was ready to receive financial donations. Donations of all sizes arrived immediately. But Brian knew that stories fade. So he hit the road and he became the club's and the foundation's prime promoter. To rebuild Paradise and to do community projects, the club and the foundation needed money. Brian's photo-based needs table traveled with him to the Four-Way Fest, the International Convention in Hamburg, the Zone Institute in Denver, the 2019 Pets. Online, he established a constant contact page, he furnished updates, he solicited donations, and to date, that Paradise Rotary Foundation has received $2.3 million in donations from around the world. They have committed to date $1.1 million so far in support. Let's just agree, Brian's work is having an impact. Now, less than 3 months after that campfire, with Brian in charge, and with the indispensable help of the area clubs, that club pulled off the Paradise Rotary Club crab feed in Chico. At 540 people, it was a sellout. And then they did it again in 2020. But the singular largest contribution that Brian made to his club and to us was to agree to serve as a second-term president. In that way, the efforts that he initiated would continue smoothly. He received support from many, including a conscientious board, all the club members, and then he has his star cheerleader. Her name's Pam. She had to endure the stresses of a 2-term president with a continuously overflowing plate. Writer Don Thompson says there's more to the story, but you need to ask Brian and Pam. Don, that was wonderful. Thank you so much for writing that. Pam, please, will you unmute your screen and will you present Brian with his recognition?
Okay, here we go. Close your eyes. Congratulations. Turn it around so you can see it. Can you read it? He can't read it.
Hold on.
Here, I'll hold it out here.
Thank you.
Brian, we could hear you. You could say a word or two.
Read, that's the problem.
Okay, so you're in Rotary for about 25 years and you keep getting asked to be president. You're going to be co-president with your wife. You end up being an assistant governor. You end up being the first dude. You get to meet a lot of the people on the screen, which has been fantastic. And then finally you relent and you say yes to being president. So we get into the pre-president thing. The past president and me and our president-elect are doing these things. We're creating committees. We had 8 new members those first 3 months. We were going to win the Club of the Year award for sure. And then your town burns up. So that kind of put a kink in the plans. And literally we missed that day. The day of the fire happened to be our meeting day. So we missed that day. The next week we had a meeting, and we haven't missed a meeting. We missed the first week when the COVID thing hit because our caterer couldn't let us meet. But other than those 2 meetings, we've met every week since then. It's been amazing. The resiliency of our club members is just great. So thank you very much. And I'm not going to do it again.
I love it. Brian, we are so grateful for you, and honestly, I know I speak for everybody when we say congratulations and truly good job. And Pam, thank you so much for your assistance and good job at keeping the secret. That's awesome. I mean, we had to work with Pam to get Brian's award up to paradise. Next, I'd like to introduce a great friend. He served as our district governor in 97, 98. And in a few days, he will officially be, ready, World President of the International Fellowship of Flying Rotarians. Please, help me to welcome past District Governor George Chafee. George is here, right? George, if you're talking, we can't hear you.
Wait a minute. Okay, I'm unmuted. Carol is reminding me. Well, good morning, everyone.
Are you unmuted now?
Can you hear me now?
No.
No?
Yes, we can hear you. You're doing great. Thanks, George. Thanks, Carol.
Good morning to everyone. Muting, unmuting, whatever. Listen, this morning, the Cliff Dochterman Award will be presented by Cliff Dochterman. And my assignment is to introduce someone who needs no introduction. Now there's a challenge. Cliff has pretty much done everything you can do in Rotary, so there's too much to mention. So this morning, there are only 3 things that you need to know about Cliff. Just 3. First, he's past world president of Rotary International. You don't get any bigger than that, so we don't need to mention all the other stuff he's done along the way. Second, he's one of us. Now, sure. He was president of the world, but he was our district governor back in 68, 69. And he attends his Rotary Club in Moraga. And third, he's the most endearing Rotarian and the best speaker in Rotary. One person once told me, you know, Cliff could be funny just reading the phone book. So Cliff has spoken to more Rotary clubs and influenced more Rotary careers than anyone else in the world. That's a true statement. So to present the Cliff Dochterman Award, it's my pleasure to introduce the incomparable Cliff Dochterman.
And Cliff, you're unmuted.
Thank you, George. And greetings to all of you. It's great to be with friends and to present an award. This award that I'm going to present, which is modestly called the Cliff Dochterman Award, I thought that was a nice name since I bought the first banner. And they said, if you want to have an award in a district, you pay for it. So I did. I think I probably put it on the Spence account when I was president of Rotary or something like that. In any event, this award was for a club, to be given to a club which has a well-rounded program. Some clubs have great foundation programs. Some clubs have super youth activities and Rotaract and Interact. Some clubs have international programs that are extremely significant, or perhaps just tremendous community service programs. But I like to think in terms of the well-rounded club, the club that does everything in the 4 avenues of service, or 5 avenues: community, international, vocational, youth, and within the club itself. The club that wins this award is actually selected by the district governor. Now, this has been going on since I was president, which was 1992, 93. The years seem to go by awfully fast. And so I hardly remember how long it's been. But in any event, we've, every year the governor supposedly picks this club. I am, as I've looked over the list of past recipients, I am assured that governor didn't understand what he was or she was doing when she was picking these awards, because they picked him for something that the club did very well, like entertain the governor when they made an official visit, or give them a nice gift or something. You can influence the governor in an amazing way by a gift, a box of something, I don't know, whatever your club does, makes or builds or something. In any event, I'm not sure that the governors understood the purpose of the award. It's not an award because you had a good club president. It's an award for the work of the entire club in the areas of service. Now, the governor, Tina, gave me a list of some of the, I didn't select the award. As I said, it's picked by the district governor, and told me a little bit about the club that is getting this award. And there's a plaque or a banner that goes with it, I think, and it's probably hanging behind Tina there, almost, that you could almost read it. That's not the original banner that I bought, because somebody won the award one year and then they lost it. Probably it's in somebody's back of the seat of their car somewhere, or maybe in the trunk of their car, but they couldn't find the year, so we bought a new one. And the idea was this was circulate each year to the club that won it. In any event, it's going to go to a club, and it's called the Cliff Dochterman Spirit of Rotary Award. And then it has our district number on it, which was very clever, I thought. And so the idea of the winner this year it's done everything. Community service. It's done so many things in the community. They work with all local organizations and play structures, various kinds of projects for the community citizens of their town. They work with Rotaract and Interact and to do projects. And they've just done a lot of things in their community. And then they have a great youth program supporting youth art programs and leadership programs, mentoring Interact and Rotaract. Probably some of the members don't even know what those groups are, but the club does a good job in doing what they're doing. Then they had a great international service program, global projects, long history. They can get more money out of the Rotary Foundation than they could ever give because they do these great international service programs, eye clinics, and work down in Mexico and at South Africa projects, a lot of programs. And then I have great club service. This is a club that has a great newsletter. It has social activities among its members, does a lot of things, good speakers, good programs. The membership is kept up pretty well. They're doing an excellent job. And they just have a lot of pride. It's one of the oldest clubs in our district. It's those of you way back when our district became District 5160, we used to have Oakland in the Rotary Club. And at that time we said, you can't have two big clubs in your district. And so we split the district between at the border of Oakland, because the winner of this award this year is a Rotary Club, which I've known for 60 years, because 60 years ago, I was turned down twice when I was proposed to this club. And on the third time, they finally permitted me to join the Berkeley Rotary Club. And the governor has selected for this award, the Berkeley Rotary Club for the Cliff Dochterman Award. So if there's anybody there from Berkeley, and Mary Alice I see up there and a few others, it's a great pleasure for me to symbolically present the Cliff Dochterman Award for the spirit of Rotary to the Rotary Club of Berkeley, which would be in our district the oldest Rotary Club, and it probably has the oldest members of the whole district as well. But it is a great honor to be able to present it. And it is an honor to somebody will take it off the wall over there where Tina has it and give it to the Berkeley Club. And don't lose it again. It's the club or the district can't afford to buy another one. We bought two of them, or I bought one and somebody else bought them. I just want to say what a pleasure it is to be with all of you. Some of you have been in Rotary for 6 months, 6 years, but this year I had the pleasure of celebrating 60 years as a Rotarian and being a member of the Berkeley Rotary Club. Some of you do not know that I was turned down by Berkeley for a couple of times when I was originally proposed. A friend of mine proposed me And then he came a month later and he said, I have to tell you, I proposed your name for Berkeley Rotary, but they've turned you down because your position at the University of California was not high enough to merit belonging to the Berkeley Rotary Club. At that time, Berkeley Rotary had about 230 members. And a year or two later, he called me again. He says, you've been moving up and now you're working in the president's office of the university. So I proposed your name again for Berkeley Rotary. But they unfortunately turned you down because there's just too many people in the education classification. Bob Sproul, president of the University of California, was an early president of Berkeley Rotary. And when the president of your organization is in Rotary, you better believe that every dean wants to be in the Rotary Club as well. And so they were. Another year went by and my friend came. He was very persistent. He says, I proposed your name and Rotary finally has a new system called additional active. And you came in as an additional active member to Berkeley Rotary. And that was back in 1959. And some of you might have been around by then, but mostly wouldn't. It's a great honor for all these years to be a member of Berkeley Rotary and then to several other clubs. When you move around a lot, you move to a lot of different clubs and they don't really know much about you. So they accept you pretty well. But it's a great pleasure to present this award today. Probably the greatest pleasure is just seeing friends, Rotary friends, the number of people I see there are at my own club now, the Moraga Club, because if I would have been selecting this award, it would have gone to Moraga just because I belong to that club. But unfortunately, I didn't select it. The governor did. I'm honored to present it to the Berkeley Rotary Club. I'm even more honored just to be with friends that have had the same experiences and are going through the same experiences as being known as a Rotarian. Thank you all for your kindness that you show to an old 94-year-old guy that has enjoyed Rotary for 60 years. God bless you all.
I know. Claire, you got to unmute everybody. This is awesome. Let's just try this as an experiment. Let's make everybody unmute. That was great. Oh, Cliff. All right.
Hey, that Mike Crosby Club has the original banner that I bought about 50 years ago, and they stole it. That's what I think. Get an award.
Hi, David.
That's great.
There's a Rotary award for thievery too. You ought to go to that club. I forget which club it is. That the Concord Club? Mike, what club are you from?
Brentwood.
Brentwood?
Absolutely.
Well, Brentwood, Concord, same thing. What's that?
Oh my gosh.
We received it last year. We own that up until the end of the month.
You didn't get it last year, or this year. I don't know who it.
Moraga did get it one year.
That was last year.
1787.
Anyway, it's nice to be all with you. The question period is over, I think.
I think so. Claire, you better put us back on mute if we want to.
Yeah, I'm going to mute everybody, so hold on just now.
Thank you, Cliff.
Okay.
All right. I'm just going to say that was like the best ever presentation of the Cliff Dochterman Award. And Berkeley, your whole club has earned this award this year, and we're just thrilled for you. Congratulations. Cliff, you know we're all really happy to get to hear you, truly. And this is just so fun. Anyway, Rotary District 5160 is definitely making a donation to the Rotary Foundation in your name, because the truth is Rotary connects the world. And let's just say we are so grateful that we're connected to you. This has just been great. I just looked at the clock and said, well, this went longer than I had planned. I don't care. This was so awesome. Cliff could have talked another half hour. I just would have been thrilled. I'm just happy to be here with you. This concludes our program, and I want to thank every single one of you for spending your morning with us. I want to thank my stellar production team, Janet, Claire, Cynthia, Kathy, Tony. Thank you to our presenters. Thank you to our wonderful special guests, Johrita and Cliff. Thank you to the clubs that shared the photos. What I really want to say is thank you for giving me the privilege of serving as your district governor for a year. Honestly, it's a chance of a lifetime. We have to admit, the year was not what we expected. It was still great. I'm telling you sincerely, I am so thrilled that I am connected to you. You're awesome. Now I'm going to have to give up being district.
Hold on 1 second.
What? After I'm done being district governor, I want to go back to being queen of my own house. Hold on 1 second. Is it time for the last batch of photos? Did you figure out the music?
Yes. I hope so. I hope so, but I'm going to try it. So.
All right. Then how about, oh, I want to tell you what's going to happen. These photos are going to play, and this is like the rolling credits at the end of a movie. So it's music, and there isn't anyone coming back to speak after that. I just want to make sure you knew. Mostly what I want to make sure you knew is I just love you all.
Then
Thank
Tina,
you so
can we
much.
say, hey, can we just say thanks to you? You've thanked everybody under the sun. Thanks to you.
All right.
Thanks, my dear Bev. Thank you, guys.
You
Oh,
can
the
unmute
noise.
us after a bit and let us talk.
Are you gonna, Claire? There we go.
If you ever find yourself stuck in the middle of the sea, I'll sail the world to find you. If you ever find yourself lost in the dark and you can't see, I'll be the light to guide you. Find out what we're made of when we are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh, ooh, yeah, yeah. If you're tossing and you're turning and you just can't fall asleep, I'll sing a song beside you. And if you ever forget how much you really mean to me, every day I will remind you. Oh, find out what we're made of when we are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. You'll always have my shoulder when you
'cause that's what friends are supposed to do. Oh yeah.